Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Film Seizure. I am Jason Oliver, one of three hosts who will talk to you today about another movie. One of those other hosts is Jeff Arbuckle. Say hello, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
And the other one is Chuck Moore. Say hello, Chuck.
Hello, Chuck.
There it is. We are talking today
And goodbye.
about 1999 comedy, right before the turn of the millennium. Came out the late summer 1999. Frank Oz directed, Steve Martin written, Brian Grazer produced, Eddie Murphy and Steve Martin starring, Bowfinger. Kind of a movie that's gained a cult following, I think, as the years have passed.
You know, it's kind of funny though, because I think the original response was pretty good.
You know, it's interesting. It is one of those movies that I didn't remember it lighting the world on fire, but it did make pretty good money.
Well, I mean, I do not understand how it cost $55 million.
I don't either. Was 20 million of that Eddie Murphy's salary?
Well, they made the sequel at the same time. Fake personages. So
all the money went into fake personages. Yeah.
I mean, Secret Agent Man must cost a lot of money to.
Well, what would Eddie Murphy have cost at this time?
Well, that's what I was saying.
Probably about 15.
I mean, it is amazing because as we know, all movies cost $2,184 to make.
Right.
Cash money.
Yeah. This movie I was working at the movie theater when this came out. It was about a month or two before, about 2 months before I moved to California. Yeah, we saw this together, Jeff.
Yeah.
I don't know who else saw this with us, but we laughed like fucking morons throughout the entirety of this movie.
I sent a message to Chuck. There are a couple of lines in this that I had completely and totally forgotten.
Yeah, me too.
The whole thing about Buck the Wonder Slave kills me to this day.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
The spear chucker.
Oh, that whole scene is Eddie Murphy coming in at about a 12.
Oh man.
I mean, he is coming in hot to this movie.
I had totally forgotten about the show to the Laker girls thing.
Oh my god.
Which I think in today's
so
climate is so much funnier even now.
Yes.
And
it's such an important thing to this movie too.
Yeah.
Because in the end, it's what wins the day. But no, the one thing that it's like I was saying to Chuck privately was that because Chuck, you had mentioned how much you thought Eddie Murphy was really good in this, and he is. But this is Steve Martin at his Steve Martinest. Like some of the things he does is like. It is just like it's a stand-up act in some regards. Like the fact that when he talks about he wants to produce Chubby Rain, and he's like, and then we will be important. And when I say we, I mean me. It's like no shit that Steve Martin wrote this.
It's interesting that joke. It is a Steve Martin joke, but I almost find him somewhat subdued in this.
I agree. I think he's playing more of his straight man.
Yeah, this is the type of stuff he would do when he came out for the monologue for Saturday Night Live, right? He would treat himself as this, grandiose character, or like when one of his other jokes was somebody would say "Oh, here you go, Mr. Martin." He would say, "That's Dr. Mr. Martin." Or something,
right.
He inflates himself.
But calling him subdued in this, I think, is it's appropriate.
Oh yeah,
for his character, he must play it this way because
he's playing a similar. He's playing as kind of a similar character to his character in Mixed Nuts, which is another movie of his that I love that is not anywhere close to being a well-liked movie by the general public.
Right.
But he's kind of hiding this secret. He's trying to like save the Thing, right, by getting the money that they need at the last minute to save everyone's jobs, and he's hiding, the real ulterior motive, the real problem from everyone. Yeah, I mean it's kind of the same structure in a lot of ways, and then all the zaniness is happening around him. But he, in Bowfinger, is the mastermind of the zaniness in this. Whereas a lot of movies, he's kind of put upon, Yeah,
he's the perpetrator and the savior in this,
right?
In a way, yeah.
Right. A lot of movies, he's always being put upon, and it's Steve Martin reacting to that. In this, it's like he's the one putting onto everyone else.
Yes,
he is the mad genius.
Also, in this movie,
very loosely used there.
Yes,
Christine Baranski is absolutely insane in this movie.
Yes.
Like, she looks insane in this movie.
Everyone is good in this.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean,
we have to talk about the plot of this.
Yes.
At least mention the plot, because
I had forgotten what the actual plot was.
Me too.
If you can believe it. All I remembered was the twin brother. Right?
Yeah.
And I thought, I was even explaining to Susan that the plot of this movie is that they have to make a movie with a star, so they get the star's twin brother to be the star and pass it off as the star being in it, right?
That was my memory.
Almost like a fake Charles Bronson movie, right?
Yeah.
And, I had completely forgotten the fact that they are shooting with the star, but without him knowing it.
Yeah, I remember that.
That fucking killed me. I was like, oh. I remember why I like this movie so much. Yeah.
I had forgotten that they didn't know he was related. Like, that never came up.
Right.
That never came up. That's like, you look just like Kit Ramsey.
Until the very end. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's a joke.
But
that's a joke, obviously, and it's funny. Like, they didn't realize he looked just like him.
Yeah.
They needed a good ass. They got a good ass, basically. But they're making the movie. It's sold so well. Like, Steve Martin is just amped about the script. He's finally going to make his career, right? He's like, this is beautiful. And his accountant wrote it for him, right? His accountant, Gopher, whatever Afram is, he like wears all the hats.
When he's telling his crew what the name of the movie is and what it's about, they just look at him like, are you serious? This is the best script you've ever read? Chubby Rain.
Chubby Rain. Well, explain, Afram, explain why it's chubby.
Because the aliens come down in the raindrops and it makes them bigger. So they're chubby raindrops, chubby rain. Because in the scene earlier, when he's reading it and he's so taken by it, and he's calling all these people in the middle of the night, it's like, be here at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. or whatever it was. We have to talk about this script and how we're going to make this movie. You think, like, man, did he really just stumble upon the next,
Citizen Kane?
Yeah, or at least like Armageddon or something, like something that would make money.
Oh my God.
Well, yeah, because he's sitting there. It's like, this is a great script. That's a great script. And he keeps saying it. And also, the fact that he has this little ponytail.
Oh man.
The whole, I mean, that's another kind of.
It's fucking clip on. It's clip on. Oh my God.
It's a Steve Martin prop joke where it's like, it's there for the first like 5 scenes.
Yeah.
And then he walks in someplace and he like feels back there and he just rips it off and then puts it in his pocket and moves on. It's like, it's such a stupid
But then,
well, it's not written the rest of the movie because he gives it to Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, because it comes out of his pocket with his card.
He can keep that too.
Yeah, you can wear that.
Which weird ass Robert Downey Jr. I don't even know if you call it a cameo. Just
it's a role.
Is this Robert Downey on his luck era, Jr.?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, although he had been in a handful of decent movies in the '90s when he was not doing so great. But no, I mean, like he was not getting the big parts of the roles that he was
Yeah, he was definitely
that he had before. Like this was he wasn't getting any Chaplin roles at this
Nope.
point.
Right.
But I mean, but he was in I mean, Natural Born Killers. He was in Only You. He was Richard
Yeah.
III.
they're all really small roles.
Oh, he was in he was in U.S. Marshals. He was in the sequel to The Fugitive.
Mm-hmm.
His redemptive arc is coming. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is. Oh boy, yeah, he was really kind of
Oh, that's
I
right. He
think-
was in
you know what
Wonder
I
Boys
think-
the following year.
probably Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was like the
Resurgence.
Yeah.
was the
Role.
the first big meaty role he had
Yep.
in a while that hit. Yeah,
And he was great in it. Him and
Yeah.
Val Kilmer were great.
yeah, for real. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, so it was kind of Robert Downey on his luck, Jr. He's in like 3 scenes, but he's pretty funny in the scene in the restaurant.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's perfect. I mean, yeah, he's the perfect guy for that part.
Freaking Steve Martin talking on his car phone with the cord just
Yes.
dangling.
Ripped out.
Oh my
Ripped out from the
God.
car, just dangling.
And I like that Robert Downey Jr. just humors him.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's a
Yeah.
big time movie producer and he just humors him.
Yeah,
He's
it
like, okay,
almost-
if you can get Kit Harington, I'll
Ramsey.
do it.
well, yeah,
Or Kit
it's-
Ramsey. Kit Harington.
Kit Harington. He might be able to get Kit Harington at that time.
Yeah,
his
maybe.
life.
He would have been
Um,
7.
Right, exactly. If yeah, that's the thing. It's like you think that because like when you first see Robert Downey Jr., you think, oh, this guy's going to be an ass. You know, he's a movie producer. He's the head of a studio. He's talking about what he wants. He seems like a jerk, but you're right. He does humor him and seemingly makes a deal.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you get this guy, you've got my full support because he wants to work with that guy, you know? So it's like, he is getting something out of it, but he does not seem like he's doing it under, oh my God, I'll just tell this, you know, it's like,
Well,
it's-
he's patronizing him. He's like, he's
Well,
never going
sure.
to be able to deliver Kit Ramsey. He's like, I can't even get him on the phone. You know, how's this guy going to get him? You know?
but if he does get him, he'll work with him.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
he'd want,
sure.
he'd have
Well,
to
he'll
use-
probably put him in another picture or something. But yeah,
right,
yeah.
exactly. But I mean, in a
He
way,
would- he
I mean,
he
he's
would-
at the he's at the premiere, so I think he came through.
yeah, I think he did.
Oh yeah, I think he did ultimately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But in his mind, in that moment, he's like, you could
Oh, for
probably
sure.
knock him down with a feather if this guy actually brought a movie with
Absolutely.
Kit
Right.
Ramsey. Yeah.
By the way, the movie poster for Chubby Rain with Eddie Murphy's face in water drops. God, I want a poster of that. So yeah, so now
What's the big line? The big line.
got you suckers.
Got you, sucker. Which is funny too because there is a scene then early on where he wants a movie like
wants a
that
line.
with a big tagline with like a big.
Well, yeah,
catchphrase.
They only give that to white actors.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Schwarzenegger and Van Damme, they don't talk good English.
Yeah. Yeah. And he goes on, he's like, I plugged this script they're giving me into the computer. And there are how many says like
It was like
there are
however many K's there are is perfectly
6,000 so many
It's divisible by 3.
divisible perfectly by 3. There are 3,000 KKKs in the script you gave me. Which again, this movie is kind of like prescient in a way with paranoia and conspiracy theories and like QAnon, right? Like I know Mindhead is a send up of Scientology,
Yeah.
but it's a flimsy send up at best, right?
Terrence
because-
Stamp is L. Ron
because-
Hubbard.
Because they're kind of actually trying to help him. Like none of the things they're telling him is really wrong. They might
Right.
be fleecing him for his money, but they are keeping him from showing it to the Laker girls.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real rub, right?
to.
They need to keep him. They need to keep him on the straight and narrow, and him to keep paying them.
Right. Yeah.
So it is a kind of a 50-50 proposition, right?
Yeah.
But it's morally gray, not completely black.
But he is also like the perfect person who would gravitate to an organization like that, who deals in codes and secrets and conspiracy. Yeah.
But it's a hilarious coincidence, right? So the things that Kit Harington, that was a joke, Kit Ramsey is on edge about are aliens, and aliens having sex with him, and the Laker girls needing to be brought down a notch.
In the voice of Ted Kennedy.
In the voice of Ted Kennedy. In the movie that Bowfinger wants to make is about an alien invasion. What are you laughing about?
The Laker girls need to be brought down a notch.
That's fucking hilarious.
I mean, it's so weird and hilarious.
So all his weird insecurities or anxieties or whatever play in exactly to the script that they're going to film him unknowingly for.
Yeah, it's like,
which is
happy
fucking
premise number
brilliant.
One. Happy premise number 1 is there are no aliens. Happy premise number 2 is there's no giant foot trying to squash me or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy premise number 3 is I will not ignite spontaneously or something like that as well.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And he's keep it together. Keep it together.
Right. Yeah, well, there was one where it's like, and you don't show Mr. Weenie to the Laker girls.
Keep Mr. Weenie in the pants.
Oh, but I gotta show it to the Laker girls. Got to. It's like the one he just can't get through, can't get past.
And that's not. I mean, oh God. Yeah, I don't know if I said
Terrence Stamp delivering that line too. You must never show it to the Laker girls. There's this. I don't know if a couple of weeks ago when we were kind of talking about the movies, I think it might have been offline, like privately. I had said that this was kind of the upswing of Eddie Murphy's resurgence. That's, I mean, obviously Nutty Professor was the big splash.
Right.
Because that first one's pretty funny. But he kind of is becoming like a modern day Jerry Lewis, playing multiple roles. And because like this is 3 years after Nutty Professor and he's playing double roles again. I mean, he kind of started that with, I guess, Coming to America. Yeah, right? I guess so. Yeah, you're right. And he did it again in Vampire in Brooklyn. He did. Nutty Professor, though, big time. I mean, of course, that's his God, Lewis, that whole Lewis sitting around the dinner table with his family. That was some funny shit, man. But he was also kind of like he had 2 big bombs before this came out, and I remember them being bombs because I worked in the movie. Was Flubber one of them? No, that was Robin Williams. Holy Man. I was joking. Sorry. Holy Man was a huge bomb, so was Life, another big bomb. Oh God! Not as big, but it didn't make his money back, and that was an $80 million budget. Like, what the hell? He was taking a lot those days. He had to be for those budgets. It had to be 20-25 million, I bet. But those were 2 really big bombs. Another big one that he had though during that time though was Mulan. Yeah, he voiced the little dragon guy. He was the dragon voice. Yeah, but that's like that's not an Eddie Murphy vehicle. I know, but I mean, like he was obviously sought out, and there are people much younger than us that will know him from that. Yeah. My kids will know him from Shrek. That's what they'll know him from. Absolutely. If they ever hear him talking in a movie. Well, again, he went back. He had a moderate hit with Bowfinger, and then he went back to the Nutty Professor. Yeah, Clumps was the and that was a huge hit, and then Shrek, of course, huge hit. Which is the Dr. Dolittle movies were huge. Were good. Yeah, I do like how they kind of make digs about him
doing the family films in
Yes.
Bowfinger. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. It's really good.
But really,
what's
honestly,
great about this movie now for me is that.
What? Oh,
am I muted? I'm not.
No, there you are. Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying what's great about this movie for me now. Then you guys talk. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Chuck.
No, I think you're
fine.
good now. Go ahead.
No, Jason was commenting on you looking like you're in a different speed than what you were talking.
What's great about this movie now for me, one, when I think when I first saw it in 99, I didn't like it that much. But I mean, the premise to this is a movie film producer and how much I love B movies now. And Eddie Murphy, I don't know if I was just like over him or what, but there's so much nuance to this role, especially as Jiff. That's just insane. Like when they talk to him about when they talk to him about getting nude, like his facial reactions in there, I'm like, blushing. I didn't know that Eddie Murphy could act like that. I had no idea he could act that well. It's insane. So this movie like definitely raised like 3 notches for me on this watch. Sorry. I know I went Max Headroom or something, but
that's all right. You know what?
Jiff, I think is one of his best characters of all time.
It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. He's amazing
because he's so quiet. Incredible. He's so like he shrinks. Like when you see him as Kit, he looks like here's a guy who works out, who's he stands up straight. He looks like what you would expect a major.
He's Eddie Murphy from Eddie Murphy Raw.
I'm just thinking he looks like an action star, right? But Jiff looks like. Remember in the first Captain America movie when they had to shrink down Chris Evans? It's almost what like Eddie Murphy is doing with Jiff, but all he's doing is just wearing a baggy Tommy Hilfiger shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's it.
when he's got the hair too at first.
Oh my god!
Like
when they ask him
they
ask him if you'd mind cutting his hair, would you cut your hair?
Well, it's usually better if someone else does it. I've had a few mishaps in the past.
Oh gosh.
His squinting and then his like curling up of his smile with his braces.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's like he wants to make sure you see those braces at all times.
Well, then all of his face acting when he has to cross the freeway.
Oh man.
I mean, that's how you sell the movie, because that was in all the trailers, right?
That was how they sold the movie.
That's how they sold the movie. I mean, it's like, and just the whole thing. It's like these are all stunt drivers. It's like they called. They said you did great, which is funny because
oh my god, oh my lord,
oh sweet Jesus,
oh sweet Jesus.
And then when he finally gets over, he's like, I just want to get the coffee. I just want to go get coffee. And they're like, yes, we're going to give you a real complicated order. Okay. It's like, but first we got to do it again. And then that's just that short little cut to him like screaming across the road again is, oh my God, that's great. So like the Steve Martin, while absolutely kind of a con man in this, right?
Oh yeah.
He's not a bad guy though. Like he is resourceful. He is bending a lot of rules, and obviously Jamie Kennedy is too. But like he's not a bad guy in this. He just wants to get his movie made.
He's basically last straw with everyone around him, so he can't be. Yeah, he can't be honest with everyone because he's on the last straw with everyone. Right,
because Carol's about to leave. That's Christine Baranski. She's going to head out back east to go do stage work again. Jamie Kennedy works at a studio anyway, but like, he doesn't think that Bowfinger is going anywhere.
Well, Jamie Kennedy is like a valet guy. He parks cars and
Well,
maybe,
no,
maybe maintains like the stunt car fleet or something like that. But
yeah, I think that's what, because he was definitely at a studio lot at one
I know he
point.
works on one, but he's got a very low level job.
Right. Like he can get access to some things, but
Yes.
but yeah, it's like, and Ephraim he's just happy to be around.
How many brothers and sisters? 7 brothers and sisters, or
Something like that. They're all at the premiere. I know that.
Yeah.
I love that everybody else has a better seat than Jamie Kennedy, Steve Martin, and Christine Baranski at the premiere.
Yeah. The one guy I don't recognize from anything is I think it's Cole Sudduth.
Slater? Yeah.
He's Slater, the pretty boy actor.
Yeah.
He's like basically his second stock actor.
Right. Although you feel like he also came in off a bus from Ohio at some point too.
Yeah. Which brings us to Heather Graham. Yeah.
God, the repetition of the scenes of her figuring out who to go to next.
I love it.
Is so perfect.
I love it.
And it's so funny because she's not treated poorly for basically sleeping her way to the top, but it is definitely a take on how this works at one point in time in Hollywood, how that worked.
I love her character because she's naive, but she knows what her greatest asset is, and she's going to use it. And she's not the one being manipulated to use it. It's completely within her own agency, right?
Well,
and,
she is naive, but at the same time, she gets smart real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast.
But when she says, "I've given myself 1 week to become a star,"
is this where I go to become a star?
Is this where I go to become? Where do I go to become a star? Yeah.
Oh God, him charging the actors to audition for Chubby Rain.
Oh, bring $25.
Yes. And she doesn't have cash. She has a check. And he's like, nope, sorry.
And then she does the audition, and her and Slater just making out. He's like, okay, that's good. Let's try it again without the erection.
But that's funny too. Like, he is talking about how actors have it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and when you see it, you know it. Well, he has no idea.
No, he has no idea. Slater.
He wants somebody who has $25.
Right. Slater and Efren saw it right away. Right.
Well, right.
And
I mean, the entire audience saw it the moment she got off that bus.
Right.
But he was completely blind to. In fact, he is completely blind to her until she turns on the charm to him.
Right.
Which even then, it's not even like, it's oh God, it's just her and whoever was next walking down that little path towards Bowfinger Productions.
Yeah.
Scene after scene is just brilliant. And for some reason, she also even hooks up with Jamie Kennedy, who has nothing to offer. But why not?
Well, information.
He's the one who has the information. Yeah. So he's the one who tells her that Kit Ramsey doesn't know he's in their movie. Yeah.
Well, and her, like, everybody's face when they're all sitting around that Denny's and Jiff says, Jiffinson, by the way, I want to name something that is hilarious.
It's hilarious.
But Jiff is like, talking about how he's like so happy he's found this group, that they like him for who he is and not because he's Kit Ramsey's brother. And everybody else's faces like this, like, oh God, we're using this kid for this thing that he doesn't, but her face and her reaction is fucking perfect.
Well, I don't think that's what the reaction was. The reaction was, we had no idea you were his brother.
Well, Steve Martin, it does come to a realization though.
Later, not in that scene though. In that scene,
when they walk out of the diner, he stops Dave and he says, "I have a conscience now. I can't use this kid the way. Didn't you hear what he said in there and all of that?" So he is
right. That is a follow up. He at the table they all are realizing that he's his brother. They had no idea. That's
okay.
what their faces were at the table. Afterwards is when he was thinking, well, I could do this. No, I can't. I can't do it to that kid.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's yeah. Okay. But yeah, her face is like lights up where it's like, it's
right.
like, she's like, he's the next one because that's going to get her the kid.
Right.
Which it does eventually work.
It does. Good. Yes. It does. Which Steve Martin's face at that too killed me.
Yeah.
When he shows up at the premiere with Kit Ramsey.
Well, and then when he comes in, it's like, guess who I just had intercourse with in the van?
In the van.
Being Kit Ramsey's brother has its perks. He's so good.
I like that he calls the type of filmmaking that they're engaging in as cinema nouveau.
Yeah,
that's funny. And one line reminded me of you earlier when he says, what does he say? We're trying to make a movie, not a film.
Yeah.
I was like, that's totally a Jason Oliver line.
Yeah. Well, and I've always, that might have been where I got the distinction that I have, where it's like, I will classify some things as a film and some things as a movie.
Yeah.
Which I'm really just saying it's like higher brow and entertainment, or just plain straightforward entertainment, But yeah, no, this might be where I even got that from when I was younger.
That's how.
But yeah, so so there, it is actually really. Oh God! Also, they're like, well, we need a crew.
Oh God,
we're gonna go pick up a crew.
This is my favorite ongoing joke in the movie.
Well, the smash cut to the border guards shooting at them. Yeah. They're like, get in the van,
piling them into the van. Yeah. Like I love how exploitative it begins with those characters and how and their arc towards the end, and they're discussing like Apocalypse Now and Doctor Strangelove and camera apertures. And it's so fucking great.
It's so perfect. It's I mean, and it's like that is every single.
They gradually get really good at their jobs. It's wonderful.
To the point where at the end of the day, like they take the stealth shots.
They save the day. Yeah.
Yeah, but they take the stealth shots of what is going to belong in them, not the B-roll, but like and it actually comes across as a real movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're watching it, you think, how the hell is this going to work? And it's like, and of course, I've seen enough of these types of movies where I sit there and I think, oh my God, this is going to be fucking glorious. But like not in the way that you want it to be. It's like in the way that those types of movies can be like gloriously like incompetent. And yet apparently it scores big. And it's just these, I mean, I'll be kind and say they are they're day workers. Yeah. but yeah,
I mean, they weren't even day workers yet. They were just crossing the border.
But you're doing the thing that a lot of people in Texas do in those border towns, right? Pick up work on the.
It's great though that Steve Martin, the first time they shoot, which is the scene where they've got to get Kit Ramsey leaving his mansion driveway.
Yes.
And then Heather Graham coming out to chase them. It's like, you forgot your briefcase. And they shoot it cleverly to make it look like, that she has to sneak in and then run out of the driveway. But they shoot it by moving the camera. And so it looks just right. But before that, he's like, he takes the one Mexican.
Oh, and he's showing him how to do the clacker.
And he's behind him, and he clacks the clacker with him. And then he takes the other guy with the sound, and he puts him in position, and then he runs back. He's actually telling them, showing them what to do, and they learn, and they get really good at it.
Right. Well, there's a couple of things also I want to bring up about that too. First of all, Kit's name in the movie is Keith. Right. And she's like, Keith, you forgot your briefcase, in her crazy like Russian accent or whatever she's doing. Yeah. And at one point it goes into the limo and he's like looking back and he like he asked the driver's like, "Hey man, your name Keith?"
well, and Keith says no, it's Robert or something. But thanks for asking.
Right. And he just kind of brushes it off. But Heather Graham's like constant flailing and shaking of her hips is hilarious. Like that doesn't even make sense. And yet she does it in every single scene. Like it almost feels like, I don't know if maybe it was like in some way, it's like, there's one thing that they'll always say. It's like, you'll always know, like when somebody's new to acting or if somebody doesn't know how to act, they don't know what to do with their arms or their body. They may deliver,
or they move their head too much.
Yeah, exactly. Like something.
Like I was doing it.
Right. But
am I acting? They move their head way too much.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's like, it's the thing where it's like, people don't know what to do physically. So it comes off odd or sometimes it comes off stiff.
She's absolutely doing like she's sexy,
playing it up.
Provocateur,
but doing it all in the wrong times.
Yes, doing it all the wrong times and way over the top to the point where it just looks funny. Yeah.
It's just, and it's so like, it's so overly done. It's great. I gotta imagine this movie was a total blast to make.
Oh, I'm sure. The production design of Steve Martin's house, his production house / office is amazing.
Yeah.
Like all the posters and stuff. Like the one that caught my eye that cracked me up was the Hugo story.
Oh yeah. And it's just like, it's an almost like plain typeface.
Yeah.
With
a picture of a Hugo.
Right.
Once upon
Uh-oh. What was that?
Once Upon a Mattress cracked me up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like young Steve Martin, like photoshopped onto like a fucking, I don't know, Robin Hood or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's great. Yeah. But then he also had like Touch of Evil.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. The stuff he aspires to. Right.
Right.
The scene, I always remember the scene, but when they have their date, Steve Martin and Heather Graham, and they're both like everything the other one says, they say that they also love it.
Right.
And then when she says, "And Smashing Pumpkins," and Steve Martin says, "I love to do that."
Yeah. What was the Scooby-Doo was the Flintstones was what? Yeah.
That's kind of what kicked it off, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Him like putting a little bit of wine into the bottle and then filling it up with water.
Oh my God.
And she's like, "You could drink this stuff and not get wasted."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah."
He does steal a credit card. That's like the one kind of nefarious thing that he does in this movie.
Yes.
And they never actually resolve that.
Which I'm fine with because she's using him.
Yeah,
true,
that's fair.
But, I mean, is she?
Yes.
Yeah. For what?
To get
Are you kidding me? To get her scenes in the movie.
Yeah, but is that the same as like have your credit card stolen and thousands of
No, but I mean, this movie's exaggerated. It's exaggeration.
And she is like giving him something. I mean, there is an exchange happening.
Oh God.
Well, but he's also finishing the movie that she's starring in.
Fair enough. But I mean, there could have been a thing where like she like looks at her credit card statement or something,
She's
it could have
fine.
just been a gag.
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
maybe that's why she goes to Jamie Kennedy.
Maybe.
Like, what's really going on here? I don't know. You're thinking a little too hard on this.
No, it's just the one thing he does that's kind of like, ooh.
So like this whole time they're the whole reason why they have to get the good ass is because they're going to add the scenes because she starts going out first with Slater, then moves to Afram because Slater's like, cause she's like, it'd be great if I had more scenes. And he's like, well, that's Afram that you have to go talk to the writer. She's like, the writer. And then she starts dating him and he writes like a nude scene.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, like more scenes with the Kit Ramsey character, or the Keith. And so then she basically, then that's when she goes to Bowfinger. And then now they have to hire somebody who's got a good ass to do the love scenes. And that's when they find Jiff. And that's the whole scene where it's like, would you cut your hair, or, all of that stuff, and his sheepishness. And so they hire him because they have to kind of know at that point, wow, he looks a lot like, Kit. It's like they have to know that. They have to know it's a little too good to be true, right? That he just happens to look like Kit.
Oh, well, I mean, it's, that's why, obviously, that's why they cast him, other than having a good ass.
Right. But then they, because they also say, it's like, do you mind also being a gopher or running errands? And he's like, oh, yeah, I'd like to do that.
That'd be a really big boost for me right now.
Where was he working at the time that they find him?
I want to say it was Starbucks or something. I think it was.
Yeah.
I also ask him if he has any movie experiences. Like, well, yeah, I am an active renter at Blockbuster.
So they bring him in. When they do the nude scene, God, his reaction to when
you're doing really great.
You're gonna be a star.
Awesome.
And then he turns around and gives like the thumbs up or
whatever. But it's also kind of funny because is literally how Heather Graham kind of became a star.
Roller girl.
Yeah. Just showing her tits. I mean, it's there's a lot of like self-parody happening in this movie that's pretty good.
Do you know that Heather Graham has not spoken to her parents since Boogie Nights came out?
Oh, wow. That's sad.
Yeah. But
that's
anyway.
Sad.
Yeah.
They didn't approve her role?
Maybe they thought she should have done more. I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. Which is funny because they don't seem to be like weirdos like that. But yeah. They're like.
That's sad.
Yeah.
You'd think they would have gotten over it at some point.
Well, maybe she hasn't.
Maybe. That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So when they, I guess we should say, like the whole thing, the reason why Bowfinger is calling this, what do they call it? Cinema Nouveau?
Cinema Nouveau.
is because he says to everybody, Kit doesn't want to see the camera. He doesn't want to he's such a method actor that there's, it's like you can't speak to him before a scene shot. You can't, it's like he'll call us when he's ready for filming, all of that stuff. And so that's why they have to, that's why everybody else buys in to the concept of, we got to hide in the bushes to film him, or we got to do these various scenes in awkward scenarios or in awkward situations. I do like at first, like, I think Christine Baranski says to the makeup people that she thinks that Kit is unprofessional, but whenever she talks to anybody else, she talks about how great he is. It's kind of that's kind of a classic dig at like kind of being the behind the back kind of talk about like, your other actors and stuff like that. I'm guessing makeup people hear all sorts of juicy shit.
Oh, sure.
That would never be said to anybody else, But yeah, it's like she walks up to him at like a diner or something and talks about like how, and they've got like a guy positioned with a microphone near him, and she's, talking about like, what's, like there's going to be some sort of an alien baby or something, which she's like starting to freak out about.
Alien love. What are you talking about? Alien love.
she throws the water on him and he dodges and it hits the microphone.
Oh my god, when the one guy starts talking to him about plutonium.
Oh,
and he's like, that plutonium is registered and for religious purposes. And he's like, wait, you actually have plutonium?
Oh god, I mean, like the movie, like the way it's shot and the way that they kind of follow him around,
yeah,
it makes no damn sense. Like there's no way any of that is sensible or sensical, and the whole thing that.
And there's no way you could cut a movie into it as well. I mean,
no way.
A horrible movie to watch.
I mean, I get maybe Godfrey Ho could.
Yeah.
But
you have to put a lot more GIF in that movie.
Oh, for the Godfrey Ho version? Absolutely. I'd watch that version too. But also like there are well-known stories where like, you know, like when the British crew was like filming the scenes for like Star Wars, because it was all like kind of done out of order and everything. And they're like, we have no idea what the fuck this is. You know, and it's like there are plenty of movies like that were made where not everybody is aware of exactly what they're doing. And that's wild to me that anything can be put together in some fashion or in some, you know, workable way ever in those kind of scenarios when not everybody, not even like the main principal people working on the movie, even know what they're actually doing.
Yep. That's pretty common. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, it'll all be fixed in post.
Yeah. It all makes sense in the edit.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Like, that seems like such a weird profession to me.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, so we get to the point where, you know, it's like we got to shoot the final scene. Although I guess we should also say that that Bowfinger has figured out this whole plan, not because, I mean, he does try to talk to Kit, and you know, he even worms his way in by saying, "Oh, are you on your way to your Mindhead meeting?" It's like, oh, you know, it's like, what, you're part of Mindhead? And it's like, who's your guy? And I can't remember who he says, just like some guy's name.
Yeah,
and
like,
he like
Bill, Brad or something,
Bill
Steve
or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Steve or what? Yeah. And then they drive like 15 feet and he gets kicked out of the car or whatever.
Right.
But
people like you give Mindhead a bad name.
So like they're gonna, and also at this time,
welcome to Mindhead. Welcome to Mindhead. Welcome to Mindhead.
They get found out by Mindhead when Jamie Kennedy brings back some equipment, and he accidentally forgets to tear off the label that says Kit Ramsey on it. And one of the security guards is like a level 6 Mindhead guy. Yeah. And they're the fucking little pyramids on their heads. That's so great. And he basically tells he tells Terrence Stamp, it's like, yeah, somebody really is following, you know, Kit Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's time to shoot the big final scene at the Griffith Observatory. And the whole construction of that scene is actually pretty brilliant.
It's really funny.
I mean,
there are multiple levels to it.
Yes. And it's so frantic. And it's so like, you know, remember a few weeks ago we were talking about Clue, and like that whole scene where it's all being explained, right? And like Tim Curry's dashing from room to room. It's like there's a little bit of that going on with Eddie Murphy and Heather Graham. And then there's and
she's just pulling them along, right? Yeah,
right.
The whole time.
Yeah.
But all the people that are in the observatory looking at the ceiling, she's like, "Oh, they're all like aliens."
Yeah, they're worshiping their false god or something.
Yeah,
and it's so funny. Like
they're watching like Laser Floyd or something.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And they all look like they're fucking stoned too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
but like the times when she decides to break her character is perfect too.
Oh, you gotta say "gotcha, suckers."
Yeah, you gotta say "gotcha, suckers," and she keeps like peeping out from behind. It's like, say it, just say it. You'll win. You'll stop him.
Stop him.
And he's like almost like in tears.
I saved the world. But his like total meltdown from semi-paranoid to completely paranoid, like alongside his role as Jiff, like all of it is just magic.
Yeah,
It
so good.
is.
It's so good.
When Christine Baranski shows up again, and she's like, "I just wanted to come down to see you get shot today."
Get shot.
What are you talking about?
Oh, and when they have the dog walking in the high heels,
That is amazing.
Yeah,
that is the most impressive stunt I've seen in a movie in a long time. But also, like his whole reaction of him like doing like the karate noises and stuff. Like,
and the edit is like
Yeah.
great when they edit her in, like all of that.
Yeah.
Dude, the stupidest thing in this movie, well, maybe not the stupidest, but it is pretty stupid, is when they have Jamie Kennedy on the lift in the truck in a tree. Like,
yeah. In the bucket. Yeah. Wonderful.
it's like, why is he in a tree?
When Ephraim and the cop that was going to bust him for not having a permit is like, have you ever been in a movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
He gets that guy when he delivers his line. I can't remember exactly what it is that he says, but oh my god, he's pointing his gun, his service revolver at Kit Ramsey and his entourage.
Yeah.
And then Ephraim starts to like all the
Like do the
starts to
melting
come
yeah.
out of his face and out of his neck, and that's like it for Kit Ramsey. He's just like he's broken.
And the other guys are just like, what the fuck?
Well, and then because also Ephraim's arm falls off.
That's when his arm falls off. That's like it. He's just toast at that point.
Well, and then like also one of the
He's
great
completely
things,
malleable to Heather Graham.
Yep.
that's fair too. I mean, generally that's fair.
If she wants me to go with her to
To Griffith Observatory, I'd
Sure.
love to. All of that
Love to.
sounds like a
I'd love
great
to.
time. Sounds like a great time. Gotcha, suckers.
Gotcha, suckers.
How many times do I have to say that?
Can I look at Uranus?
Gotcha, suckers. That whole chase scene when it begins too, like when there's they have like the one car that's got like the shoe polished out windows, and you got the guy in like the cheapest fucking like silver outfit
Yeah.
and like stupid helmet and everything. The alien in the trunk that's like
That's Jeff.
yeah,
That's
I mean,
Jiff
but like,
in the trunk. Yeah.
but like that's I mean, just that whole costume is like so like that is beneath Roger Corman level stuff. You know, I
love the resourcefulness of the one scene where he's having lunch and Christine Baranski comes to accost him. And
Yes.
the one Mexican crewman changes his will work for food sign or whatever to shine the sunlight on
Yes.
them,
Yes.
to give them a better
brilliant.
light. It's so good. Yeah.
What's funny about all of like they're filming a B movie and they never make it look like they're not.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Even though this is a big production, the B movie stuff looks B movie. So like you're saying, it's beneath Roger Corman. It's funny.
Yeah. It's perfect. Yeah.
Well, not only
if they're on a
is it a B movie,
$2,800 budget.
Yes, it's
$2,184
DIY and clandestine at the same time.
Yeah.
DIY,
Yeah.
KIT, keep together. Do it yourself. Keep together.
KIT.
Yeah, it's yeah, and the whole like him like yeah, like you said, Jason, like him up and it's I saved the world. But then that's when Mindhead comes with like their army, I guess.
Yeah.
And basically shuts
Helicopter.
everything down. I guess
But I like that too. It's almost like Close Encounters
yeah.
when you think it might be aliens.
Right.
You know it's not aliens, but
Right.
it's shot like that. Yeah.
Right. But for Kit, it's still kind of like, what is happening?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Because he's so confused. That's why he can't get the line out.
Right.
Right. He's also like I've started in on this and I kind of went off track here, but the whole idea of how Steve Martin comes up with this idea of Bobby Bowfinger, like, because he's like, we have 12 major sequences and only 6 do we have to see Kit in.
Right.
And he's like, he's plotted it all out. So it's like all the rest of the movie is happening.
Yeah.
But like they just have to figure out where he's going to be and how that will work its way into, like, so we got to figure out a way that he leaves his briefcase. So we got to shoot him at home, and you got to have a public, a couple of scenes where he's
running
public
to and from the aliens.
Right. Yeah. It's like he runs to the aliens. He runs from the aliens.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, that's all we got to do, and it's actually kind of like, it is a detailed plot for him to try to figure out how to get this film made. And,
right.
And it's nice and simply done. It's like, I've mapped it out. Here's what we need. Jamie Kennedy, you got to tell me when he's going to be leaving or where he's going to be, basically. Which is kind of amazing that Jamie Kennedy has that kind of knowledge for being basically low in, on the lower part of the ladder at the studio.
Yeah.
Now you're the one that's thinking too much about it, Jeff.
No, I'm just saying it's amazing that he knows what he's.
I kind of chalk it up to a lot of those people who have minimal access to the studio but have grand ambitions. All kind of talk, right?
Right.
So he knows people in lots of different departments and with lots of different access to where he can get a general idea of where a big star like that is at any given time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they basically everything is in the dumps at this point. It's all the shits now. And
the filmmakers who now the film crew who now can speak English perfectly and are very adept at their jobs have been secretly filming Kit.
Yeah, for B-roll.
Yeah.
And I think it's Jamie Kennedy who comes in. It's like, just got the B-roll. Do you want to take a look at it? And I think, like Bowfinger's like, what's the point? It's over, and I think he's like, well, let's just take a look at it.
He's like, well, I want to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, there's like a bunch of stuff that like, with like him playing tennis, and the fact that they use it for the opening of the movie is
yeah,
because it's so not action starred. It's so bad. But anyway, but they're like, it's like, oh, what's this? It's like, what's he doing here after a basketball game or whatever? And you see him like, he's like basically, he's wearing like an overcoat, like a trench coat. And he's got a paper bag that he puts over his head. And he goes to he's going to show Mr. Weenie to the Laker girls. He's going to bring him down. But they laugh. He's like, it's not funny. And so he runs off, and it's like Bowfinger basically says, like, I think we got our movie here. So I think,
right.
Yeah, it's like basically they're going to use it to blackmail him. So he takes it to Mindhead, and it's like, you give us access to Kit, we finish this movie, and this never sees the light of day, basically. And they agree, and Chubby Rain is a massive hit.
Of course.
I love it. But it never gets Bowfinger out of the B-movie realm, because what happens when they're celebrating, the one thing that's said at the very beginning of the movie is that FedEx people every morning are delivering papers to important people.
Mm-hmm.
And one of these days we're going to be important. And by we, I mean me. And they're at the party, for wrapping up everything, and everybody's happy. Everything's great. And here comes the FedEx truck, and it delivers a piece of paper, a single piece of paper that basically is an offer for Bowfinger to go make a movie in Taiwan starring Kit Ramsey, or
Not
sorry,
Kit.
no, Jeff
Jeff.
Ramsey, and he's like, smash cut to the greatest movie ever made.
Fake purse ninjas, man. Jiff or Eddie Murphy in this scene is fucking amazing. I would watch a whole movie of this. Like his like, it's almost like him crossing the street all over again.
Yes.
But this time he's fighting people, and the way that he's like doing the moves from like so 3 feet away and throwing people without
you can get.
Yes.
It's so great because, like, first of all, like, it's all the same people, right? Like the actual like guy who's running the whole fake purse business is Ephraim.
It's B movie guys all over again. They always use the same actors, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the hair, or the girl that's all captured and tied up is Heather Graham. It's, and then like Jiff comes in with 2 gigantic machine guns, which he throws away, and then just goes up, and he like he doesn't ever run at full speed. He's just kind of like,
he never touches anyone.
No, and it's all like, and then he like crosses over by a mirror, which of course you see the camera people, and
they're like, Jiff,
you gotta keep moving. And then, oh my god! But then
Steve Martin shows up to fight with him. And their crawl down off of the stage is hilarious.
Oh my god! It's like, it's nice to see you again, brother.
I would watch. I mean, if they made this movie, I would watch it.
Oh my god! I would watch this movie.
I remember just.
You were broken by that.
Laughing so hard, I was crying.
You were broken by it.
Yes.
I was too, but he was especially broken.
It was, oh my god, it was so unexpected and awesome. Yep.
I remember like in the early 2000s, fake purse ninjas being a thing. Like people would say it to each
Probably
other.
Me and Jeff.
But I totally disconnected it from this movie. And when I saw it, I was like, holy shit, I totally forgot about that. This being in this movie.
That's so great.
I was very, very pleasantly surprised by this because I was like, I don't remember liking Bowfinger a whole lot when I went to watch it. And I was like, I love this movie. I will watch it again pretty soon. Yeah.
Yep. It's up there.
Oh, fake purse ninjas.
It's just good. It's just funny. Just a funny concept.
Christine Baranski's back there too, like
with
her arms folded, and
then she's got like the spider lady, like
the spider
nails,
lady fingernails. Yeah.
Oh god.
All of her minions behind her, ready to attack. It's so good.
Oh my god. There's a whole clip here on YouTube from Buck the Wonder Slave. So that whole scene, I've mentioned that now a couple of times. That whole scene is Kid is looking for his, he's Kid's got a chip on his shoulder, like in all of his early scenes until he starts like really to lose it. And, he's telling his agent that like, who they give Oscars to. It's always to white guys, and it's like always with some sort of disability. and or if they give it to a black guy, it's because they're a slave.
Yeah, they play a slave.
So he says, I want to play a mentally handicapped slave. So he's like, go find me a part of Buck the Wonder Slave. It's so fucking funny. It's just great. It's just, this movie has got some great lines in it.
Mm-hmm.
What was the whole spear chucker thing? Because
he says something. It's like, well, the movie's not Shakespeare. He's like, you hear that?
That's right, Shakespeare.
Shaking Spears,
yeah. Spear chucker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
His agent really can't win. It's really funny.
No. And did you think that guy was Sidney Pollack too? Because I thought he was at first.
Don't tell him the spear chucker said hello.
Right. Kind of looks like Sidney Pollack.
It does. Yeah, but it's not. God, fake purse ninjas.
Yeah,
Little John Ho,
John Cho, yeah, he's
John
in,
Cho, not John Ho, jeez. John Cho, yeah, nightclub cleaner. Real early role for him. Just a line.
Yeah, what are they doing at the nightclub again? There's something.
That's where they're shooting through the window.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, but that's the whole scene where he comes running into the nightclub to get away,
Yeah.
and they have to like make it seem like they're shooting something else.
Gotcha. Oh man, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, Bowfinger. I mean, Steve Martin comedy is always going to hit for me. Eddie Murphy is great a lot of times. Chuck, did you ever watch Dolomite's My Name?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh my God, I love that movie so much.
I was thinking about that movie while I was watching this, and how great
there's a lot of feeling to it.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
the same.
There's a lot that feels the same, and it would make a great double feature. Yep,
Absolutely would. Let's work on buying our own theater to do that.
Yep.
Every night. Bowfinger Dolomite double feature.
I love it.
Interesting other story that connects Steve Martin to Eddie Murphy. They have now, or one will, but they will eventually both have played Inspector Clouseau.
Really?
Yep. There is a Pink Panther movie coming starring Eddie Murphy.
Really?
I will watch that.
Huh.
I didn't really love Steve Martin's Clouseau, and I don't know if I'll love Eddie Murphy's, because that's like my childhood encapsulated right there. It's hard to beat.
You can't beat Peter Sellers.
Yeah, I almost said Peter Weller.
Can't beat RoboCop either. But
No,
yeah.
Could you imagine RoboCop as Inspector Clouseau?
That'd be hilarious.
Robo Panther.
Inspector Robo.
It's spelled ROBEAUAT
or whatever. Yeah.
I don't think I even saw the Steve Martin.
There was one really funny thing in the Steve
Man.
Martin Pink Panther, and it had something to do with a
They did
sandwich.
two of them. I don't think I saw either one.
I remember the sandwich joke, but I can't repeat it.
I can't remember it either, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that was one that legitimately cracked me up in that. It's not a bad, I mean, he's not a bad choice to play a character like that, but to play that character, and that's for both of them.
He leans in almost too hard into it, is what I thought my problem was. I was like, I'd like it to be a little more Steve Martin, a little less him
doing the Peter Sellers voice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, and at that point, then just make it another movie.
Right.
Make it another thing where you have a bumbling cop or something,
Yeah.
But yeah, which is kind of funny because, here's in 2003, 20 years ago, we had Eddie Murphy in the Haunted Mansion. There's a new Haunted Mansion movie coming out this year. It's like we're on a loop here now.
Right.
Although he is going to do apparently he's got a donkey spinoff movie coming up.
Yeah, and there's a new Shrek coming, I think.
Or something.
Man, I don't think I ever saw the Alan Arkin Pink Panther.
There's the what?
Inspector Clouseau with Alan
my
Arkin.
God.
1968.
You know what? I wonder if, okay, that's weird. I've never seen that either.
Yeah.
It's the third installment of the Pink Panther film. So
I think I saw that.
Wild. Okay. Anyway.
And I was mad at it because it wasn't Peter.
Yeah.
And then Curse of the Pink Panther.
Oh, yeah. That was one that I actually kind of like.
Roger Moore.
No, that was okay. So Trail of the Pink Panther, and Curse of the Pink Panther were made back to back. Now, Peter Sellers died during the filming of Trail of the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
But Curse of the Pink Panther was already in production, so they couldn't stop it. So what they did was that's when they brought in the American detective investigating the supposed death of Inspector Clouseau or him going missing.
Yeah.
And Roger Moore plays him as a cameo because he's had his face changed.
Yeah. That's right.
A lot of people really hate those last two, but those were the ones I probably watched the most as a kid until I got a little older and watched the other ones.
I don't think I ever saw the Roberto Benigni one.
I saw that one in the theater.
Really?
And
is that bad? It's got
pretty
Robert
bad.
Davi in it.
It's pretty bad.
Claudia Cardinal.
But at the same time, it's like if you're going to have a guy to play the son of the Pink Panther, I feel like Benigni's the right guy.
I feel like that could work. Yeah,
it could work, but it just isn't there. It's just, that's the thing with Blake Edwards. Either he's on or he misses wide.
Well, I don't think I saw the Steve Martin ones. I
saw the first one. I didn't see the second.
But Eddie Murphy, huh? That's interesting.
We need more Eddie Murphy in our lives.
We do.
Yeah.
I just don't know that we need him in like existing properties.
I don't know either, but I feel like if he plays it as Eddie Murphy, it could be really funny. If he tries to do the shtick, then I'll probably not like it.
Yeah. But then again, you run the risk of if he plays it as Eddie Murphy, why isn't he just not being Axel Foley? Now
that I would watch. Are they doing another one of those?
I don't think so.
I don't
I had
know.
heard that.
I'm surprised that they.
Judge Reinhold said that yes, they are doing another one because they saw Judge Reinhold and the other guy on the set.
Oh, okay.
Whoever the mustache guy, I can't remember his name. Judge Reinhold's partner.
Oh yeah. What the hell's his name?
I can't remember, but yes, apparently they're doing that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
that's neither here nor there, right?
One thing that if
John Ashton.
Yes.
Staggert.
if they want to, oh yeah, there it is. Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley.
Oh, they're calling it. Oh,
Beverly Hills Cop : Axel Foley.
All right, let's do it.
It's in post-production, so there you go.
Let's do it.
Probably can't be done for a little bit because just in case they have to go back for any reshoots, they can't do it.
Probably same with Pink Panther.
Also, the other thing also is that the actors are on the verge of joining in too. So there's not going to be much of it. Expect a whole lot of reality TV for a little while.
Good thing I have lots of 70s and 80s movies on my shelf I can watch.
Yeah, I got plenty to do. I've got I got a whole month of Russ Meyer movies coming up for B Movie Intima down the line. So if Eddie Murphy wanted to remake the Dolomite movies, yes, I will. That is an existing property. I will give all the thumbs up to.
Man, wouldn't that be funny to kind of like, kind of like almost Tiger Lily those with
Not us. You're not suggesting we do it.
No. God, Eddie Murphy.
Yes,
sort of kind of remake the Dolomite movies, right?
Yeah, that would be pretty funny.
That'd be pretty funny.
At least take one. Like, I don't know, take Petey Wheatshaw or something. One of the outside. Do that one first. See how it goes over, and then go back to Dolomite and Human Tornado.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Anyway, I like this movie a lot. Everybody in it is just freaking perfect. Like Frank Oz got talking about Frank Oz got all the orange juice out of the orange in this movie. Like everybody's given it the best. And it sadly was even though it did okay, it was sadly overlooked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, here's another one. Cinema Score gave the film an average grade of B-.
Yeah.
Jason was in tears, so I would have had to have answered for him, and I would have said A+ for both of us. He was dead.
Yeah.
I mean, like we had to take him to the hospital to get resuscitated. He was dead.
I do think it has a little bit of a cult following now.
It should. It better.
Yeah. But still, probably if you ask 10 people on the street if they've seen it, I bet you only get like maybe 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the people who have seen it, and if they say they didn't like it,
I would
kick 'em in the
doubt
nuts.
that if they remember seeing it, I bet they liked it. Yeah.
Probably. I would have, or at least they would remember the car, crossing the highway, or, like especially the GIF stuff.
Yes.
I would have to imagine that's what they would remember.
I mean, that's
the most.
absolutely what they sold this movie on was GIF, and
Yeah.
as they should, because it's
With good
freaking
reason.
hilarious. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's freaking hilarious.
And this is an excellent little quote here from Roger Ebert. Gave it 3.5 stars. Bowfinger is one of those comedies where just everything works.
Yep.
That's right.
I was going to equate this movie in a lot of ways, like in reception and everything, to Nothing to Lose.
Ah, yeah.
And it kind of has the same, budget 25 million, box office 44.5 million.
Yeah, that's about
Like they're similar in the way they won.
Doubled up,
in the,
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting. I feel like you'd have the same kind of remembrance for this movie. Like 1 out of 10 people probably saw it and liked it.
Yeah.
Right. And they remember there's a spider on my motherfucking head. Just like
I don't speak slang. What do you mean? Maybe
Anyway.
we'll put that on the list sometime.
it probably deserves a talking because it was really good.
Oh, it deserves a talking to. All right.
Yeah. You know what
Yeah.
else deserves a talking to?
What's coming up next month?
Next month, we are
Chuck, what are we doing next month?
we're hula hooping our way back to the Coen brothers.
You got it. It's Chuck's
Sure.
month. August 2023 will now be known as Chuckist.
Chuggist. We'll kick things off. We're kind of going in order a little bit, but we're not because we've already covered Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, but we're gonna kick the month off with the Hudsucker Proxy.
I have not watched this movie. I don't think. I may have, but I don't think.
I'm very interested to know what you think. I know Jason and I, at last watch at least, both liked it quite a bit. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to seeing Fargo and No Country for Old Men again. Those are two I haven't seen in a while.
In a long time.
Yeah.
A Hudsucker Proxy is one I watched a couple years ago again, and it's one I like specific moments quite a bit, but I do see the flaws in it.
Yeah.
It is probably mid tier to lower tier Coen, but when it hits, man, it hits. I'm curious as to how Jeff will like it as well. I wouldn't be heartbroken if he didn't love it, but I guarantee you there are moments that he probably will like a lot.
it's
There's
definitely
certain
not
things I
top tier.
Yeah, I certainly remember things like the guy throwing himself out the window, stuff like that. That's what it was sold on, though. I mean, that was in the trailer and stuff. So so next week, Hudsucker Proxy, we return to a Month o' Coens. Month of Coens. Should be good times. I've seen Big Lebowski on the big screen recently. Not that long ago, at least.
I can't wait to get to talk about the Big Lebowski.
I have not seen The Man Who Wasn't There. So that's going to be some new, some revisit, some good old Big Lebowski goodness.
Yeah, I think, Jeff, you're going to have a fun month.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. Most definitely Fargo and No Country are the two I'm most excited about seeing again, because it's been a while for both of those. But anyway, so starting next Wednesday with Hudsucker Proxy, we got 5 Coens in a row. But you can find that at filmseizure.com. You can also find where you can subscribe to the podcast there. You can also find where you can follow us on social media like Facebook and Instagram. Then also on filmseizure.com next Monday, we have another episode of Monster Mondays where I will be talking about the 5th episode of Kolchak the Night Stalker, The Werewolf. That's a good one. Werewolf on a cruise ship.
Nice.
With Carl Kolchak. Let that sink in. It's awesome.
All right.
It's awesome. So that is happening next Monday, filmseizure.com as well. This upcoming Friday, we have at my website, bmovieenema.com, I have a review of 1975's The Stepford Wives. Very specific reason why I'm doing a movie that isn't technically something that I would usually pick. but I really want to cover the 2004 version, so I kind of felt like I might as well do the original one. So
Well,
I know what
you
I'm
know who
talking
directed
about.
the 2004 version? Same guy who directed Bowfinger.
Yeah, I
Frank
know.
Oz.
I know.
Yep.
And it's amazing because that movie is utter shit.
Yeah, Frank Oz had a
Up and
kind of
down.
pretty wild career.
Yes.
He had a
Up
hell
and
of a
down.
career, but he had some weird stuff in there.
Right.
Yep.
Yoda is not always the wisest when it came to picking movies. But anyway, so that is this Friday. Check out that review. Guys, it's been a month full of chuckles and laughs and good times. And it is time to move on to the Coens. And I'm looking forward to being there with you guys. Until then, I'm Jeff Arbuckle.
Until then, I am Chuckles Moore.
Until then, welcome to Mindhead. Welcome to Mindhead. Welcome to Mindhead. And you have been listening to Film Seizure.